I'm James, and these are my top 10 favorite fragrances by the house of Amouage. Amouage is a niche fragrance house that puts out some very high-end stuff. I did a video with my girlfriend Leslie on her favorite Amouage fragrances. We did a blind smell test and she picked her favorite. But there are some people out there that actually care about my opinion. And they want to know, what's my ranking of all the Amouage fragrances that I own? This top 10 list is my ranking from 10 to 1. Personally, my favorite Amouage fragrances to wear. At number 10, we have the only decant on this list, Journeyman. The way I define it is a peppery, tame version of Interlude Man. Although it has some of the signature Amouage incense in here, what differs this from the rest is the pepper. It's a very peppery fragrance, very masculine. Journeyman is one of the more wearable masculine fragrances. Although it is pretty brash, especially off the opening, it has enough versatility where you can wear it pretty often throughout the year. The only reason I didn't pick up a bottle of it, and the reason it's number 10 on this list, is because I just feel that the fragrance has almost been diluted a little bit. If I wanted something close to Interlude Man, I would just go full Interlude Man. You know what I mean? At number 10, Journeyman. My number 9 favorite Amouage fragrance is Beach Hut Man. One of the newest releases from Amouage, Beach Hut Man is a summery fragrance that doesn't smell very beachy, to be specific. What it really is a fresh green fragrance. There's a lot of mint in here, there's some vetiver, and a bright, sunny citrus quality as well. There is a reason they call it Beach Hut Man and not just Beach Man. It smells less like the beach and more so like the hut itself. It has a fresh minty quality, but it also smells a bit like straw, the actual materials on the side of the hut. It's a unique combination of notes. It performs very well for a fresh fragrance, but it's only number 9 because it is a bit unusual. And when I want a cool take on a summery mint fragrance, I'll go with Renaissance. At number 9, Beach Hut Man. My number 8 favorite Amouage fragrance is Man. What a fantastic combination of vetiver and Japanese peony flowers. Man gives you a wonderful juxtaposition of a really, really pretty floral note and an earthy vetiver. It's a nuanced fragrance that takes metrosexual perfumery in a totally different direction. You don't have gourmand notes, you don't have makeup smelling iris. Peony flowers is not used that often in perfumery in general, especially when it comes to masculine fragrances. The combination works so very well. It's just a shame that the projection on this fragrance isn't there for me, and that's why it's only number 8 on this list. And that was Man. My number 7 Amouage is Beloved Man. I gotta hand it to Beloved Man. The opening on this blew me away. With a wonderfully bright lemon and a resinous elemi note, aromatic saffron and a spicy cardamom, it really has a wonderful, wonderful opening and progression. It's a fragrance that gets overlooked because it was priced a bit higher than your average Amouage fragrance, which deterred a lot of people. And the less people that are wearing this fragrance, the less people there are to recommend it. Beloved Man is an extremely elegant fragrance that doesn't go too over the top with its use of Middle Eastern notes that may be too foreign to a Western audience. The only reason it's number 7 on this list is because it does get a little bit muddled in the dry down for me, and considering this is a lot more expensive than some of the other Amouage fragrances, I don't necessarily think it's better enough to justify the additional cost. But like I said, one of my favorite openings in the entire house, at number 7, Beloved Man. Just missing the top 5 is none other than the Blue Beast, Interlude Man. Interlude Man is everything that Amouage is about and more. It is an incense bomb that is loaded with myrrh, resin, oud, basically all of the big notes that Amouage puts out, all in one concentrated bottle. This is easily the best performing Amouage fragrance in regards to longevity and projection. It's probably one of the best performing fragrances in my collection as well. Even though this fragrance is so damn strong, it maintains this semi-sweet, comforting quality, even in the beginning, but especially in the dry down. The dry down is well worth the fairly harsh opening because it is such a breathtaking ending to a fragrance. The reason it's number 6 and not in the top 5 is because it has very little versatility. This is only a fragrance you want to wear in the very cold weather outdoors more importantly. And if you do wear it indoors, make sure it's like 7 or 8 hours into the fragrance's dry down, because otherwise you will cause a mass exodus in the room you're in. It's a lot to handle. At number 6, Interlude Man. My number 5 Amouage fragrance is Lyric Man. Now it's hard to tell from the video, but this is a deep red fragrance, which gives you a hint on the ingredient in here that makes it different from the other Amouage fragrances. And it's rose. Amouage's take on rose is slightly smoky, but the main thing that makes it really cool is the introduction of lime. It is a very unique combination of lime and rose that makes this fragrance almost as wearable in the warm weather as it is in the cold weather. It is sometimes difficult to effectively incorporate rose into a men's fragrance, but Lyric Man does it very well and very creatively. It is that fresh accent of citrus that adds to this fragrance's wearability. Even though it's rose-based, you can wear this casually. You can throw on a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt and put this on and you're good. Longevity is over 12 hours. Projection isn't quite as heavy as you would think. I get about 3 hours of solid projection and then it starts to get a bit closer to the skin. The only reason it's number 5 is because rose is one of those notes that not every dude can pull off. Sometimes it's just a bit much with the floral action. At number 5, Lyric Man. My number 4 favorite Amouage fragrance is Reflection Man. Reflection Man is quite easily the most popular Amouage fragrance. And that is because it's the closest thing to a designer fragrance in the entire line. At this fragrance's core, it is about the sandalwood, but there is also an aromatic clean lavender quality to it, and a powdery sweetness that tends to live with this fragrance. I like to classify Reflection Man as Amouage's Layton, where it has some similarities to a designer fragrance, but it's elevated and it definitely has niche-like quality. The only reason I have it at number 4 is for a couple reasons. 1, the performance isn't as good as some of the other Amouages in my collection, and 2, it is one of the more mainstream Amouage choices. But nonetheless, I've been happy with the compliments I've been getting with it recently, so I have to give it a high spot. At number 4, Reflection Man. My number 3 favorite Amouage fragrance is Jubilation XXV. Even though this doesn't have a ton of the Amouage incense, this is probably one of the most Middle Eastern smelling fragrances in the entire house. Although it's not crazy smoky or anything, Jubilation XXV is about dried fruits and a little bit of oud. In the midst of the 20 to 30 notes in here, those are the main 2 players here. What I love about the oud in here is it's not heavy. It almost feels like an oud extract where they just distilled the slightly bitter sweet aspect of oud and put it in with all the other fruits in here. Jubilation XXV is extremely rich. Normally people recommend this for formal occasions and cold weather because of the note breakdown and because it was originally meant for royalty. But I've worn this fragrance pretty casually, and I even wore it in the late summer at one point, and I got an unsolicited compliment. So maybe it's more versatile than we think, or maybe I just got really lucky. It's only number 3 though, because my top 2 are bangers. That was Jubilation XXV. And my number 2 favorite Amouage fragrance, Imitation Man. So this has incense in it. The smoky Amouage quality. But what makes it different? It's a green smoky fragrance. Right off the bat, you get hit with smoky mint. But then once the mint starts to fade, wormwood, even cypress, a tiny bit of leather and tobacco come in. It becomes a beautiful green, smoky, woody fragrance that is so addictive. Imitation Man is one of those fragrances where I just can't stop smelling my wrist. It is so intoxicating, although I will admit that I do have a bias towards green fragrances. I love fragrances that do a great job at capturing an evergreen forest, and this does it in typical Amouage fashion. It is a marvelous fragrance that you can wear in the cold or the cooler weather and just be in heaven. One of those fragrances that doesn't have one weird off note that I don't really vibe with. I really like everything about this fragrance. But it just misses the top spot because my number 1 fragrance is a little more versatile. At number 2, Imitation Man. And numero uno, y'all. My newest Amouage fragrance, coincidentally, Imitation Man. I'm in love with this fragrance. And not only have I reviewed this fragrance, I put out 2 review videos about this fragrance. so I can go in a little more detail. Imitation Man is an extremely clean, unique leather fragrance that is extremely versatile. It is the Reflection Man for the people out there that are tired of Reflection Man. It's creative, it's vibrant, it's exciting to wear, and it's a compliment getter too. This is a fragrance that you must check out and pick up a bottle of because it's also really nice to look at, which is part of this whole collection thing after all. Not only is this my favorite Amouage fragrance, but it's one of the few fragrances I selected to bring with me on my cruise ship contract. So that goes to show you how much it means to me. At number 1, Imitation Man. It's kind of ironic because Imitation Man isn't really imitating anyone. It's doing its own thing. As you can probably tell based on all the bottles I have, Amouage is one of my favorite houses of all time. It doesn't have a crazy amount of versatility when it comes to the seasons, but if you like the Amouage scent character and you appreciate smokier fragrances that are maybe a bit more Middle Eastern leaning, then you're gonna be in heaven with these guys. What are some of your favorite Amouage fragrances? More specifically, if you have any favorite Opus library collection favorites, I'd love to hear about them. But as usual, this has just been my opinion. You can get your own. If you want to check out more top 10s, click the box right there, and the 2 Imitation Man videos I was mentioning before are there and there.